Yeah, so a lot of people always ask, what is sin? Sin is an action taken by an individual that keeps that individual in low frequency. It doesn't allow their energies to rise and reach what we call Christ consciousness. And in order to reach Christ consciousness, you need to let go of the ego, of the flesh, of the sin, of temptation. So that's what sin is. Sin is a action taken by that individual that doesn't allow that individual to rise in vibration, to rise in frequency. It keeps you in the lower self, and it doesn't allow you to really get a good understanding of what Christ consciousness is. And this is why the whole point of repentance is important, because repentance is not something that you do to somebody else because you're scared of going to hell. Or repentance is telling yourself that you're tired of living this life. And when you're tired of living this life, then you have to admit to yourself that I'm tired of living like this. I'm tired of being drunken. I'm tired of my egotistical ways, my ignorance, my selfish, and all these things um, that come with the flesh and being identified with the flesh and with this character. So that's what repentance is. It's a renewal of the mind and the body. That's what they call your baptism, is a renewal of the mind. But in order to renew the mind, then what you need to do is you need to clean yourself out. And a lot of people have a hard time with this sin and with overcoming temptation. In order to overcome sin and temptation, what one must do is detach his or herself from the material world. Because if you don't detach for yourself from the material world, then you're always going to be tempted, because there's temptations and there's all kind of sin going on the surface of life. And on the surface of life, it looks kind of rough. But that's why it's really important to start peeling back the layers of the person who you think you were. That way you can open it up yourself. And then inside of this is the possibility of your mind becoming self-aware of itself. So then you can get the bigger picture of life and the bigger picture of why things are so rough on the surface. It's because, like I said, on the surface, it's the flesh. It's people who think that this life is real because we have been indoctrinated since birth. And since we've been indoctrinated and they sold us this character named Jesus, and I'm not saying a person never walked this earth who was crucified, but his name was not Jesus. See, they sold us that character. Just like they sell you characters in Hollywood. They sold you Cardi B and the Beyonces and all these rappers who are really just characters portraying to be something that they're not. Because what Hollywood does is they take these people and they dress them up and they invest in them. They invest in these people. And when they invest in these people, then they make them into their puppets, put them on chains and put them on these latest fashion trends and all that. And that's how they get to people's minds. Because your mind is like Play-Doh, it can be molded in many different ways. And so what Hollywood does, what the government does, and what churches do, they present to you these people that are supposed to take care of you, but they don't. You see, and this is what many people need to know. It's not about us fighting each other over this belief or that belief or who is the way. We all know for a fact that love is the only way. And just like they give you your Democrats and your Republicans and your Hollywood characters, it's the same thing that the church has done. They all work together as one. I know we like to think that church is over here, the government is over here, and Hollywood's over here, but no, those are just different aspects of the same thing. Just like you got two sides of the same coin, heads and tails, but still the same coin. That's basically all it is. And when we can become aware of this, then we can start to change our lives and stop participating, because they're selling us something that's no good for us. The music is not good for us, which is why we have a lot of illnesses, a mental health illness, and why we got a lot of ignorant people out there is because, well, we allow them to give us ignorance. You see, as we put characters over ourselves, not only in the physical, but first it starts psychological. So what we do to the outside of us happens within ourselves, within our own minds, because our mind, our thoughts create everything that we are experiencing. So when we buy into what they're selling us, like the makeup, they dress up these model looking women and put a character over them and paint them up with makeup and put them on these fashion trends, and you never really thought about why we have trends all the time. It's because those rich people, the elite, they're putting out those trends for you to follow so you can go to work every day and spend your money, not realizing that money you're giving them is why they have the money to go off and do the things that they do in this world. For instance, like the wars, why they have money to suppress your mind with television and music and all these wannabe fashion trends and all these fake ass holidays like Halloween and Christmas got everybody going to Black Friday, spending their money, trampling over their brothers and sisters because they ass want a big ass TV and video games for the kids so the kids can poison their mind and they kids can stay ignorant and eat up all the damn hot pockets and fucking drink Mountain Dew while they playing video games and Red Bull and all this shit that they keep people so distracted from knowing their true selves because you're all fucking addicted to what's going on out there in the world. They got your attention and that's all they want. When they got your attention, your minds can be molded. So when we can break away from all that and turn back that attention into ourselves, then we can see what the fuck they are doing. But you can't see because we see through fleshy eyes, through the small perception, through the small eyes. We only see through these physical eyes, and you can open up your mind's eye, then you can really see how this whole matrix works, how the whole system works. And it's a system. It's a program. That's why they call it the Matrix. A lot of people think it's like just a movie, but it's not. When you look out there, look at Hollywood. Hollywood is just an illusion. Just like NASA. NASA gives you an illusion like they're going to go explore space. There ain't shit up there. All life is just a projection. Moon, you can't land on the moon. How you gonna land on something that's projected up there? You see, how you gonna land on the galaxy? Ain't no galaxy up there. It's just a projection. You see, we live on the plane of existence. That's why Mother Earth is like a spaceship. It's a big machine that gives us life. It gives us a projection of life. And that's what most people don't realize, that it's on the foundation. And when we look at foundations, just like your home is on the foundation, does your home move? No, it don't move. It's on the foundation. So when we speak on foundation, we need to let things be very clear in our minds, like, hey, on a foundation, that means it's stationary. That means it's not moving and traveling around the sun. You see, we give all of our attention to these things. We let them, we believe in them, right? We believe in NASA, and we believe in the government, and we believe in the churches, and by believing in them, we actually don't know. We're just putting our faith, our blind faith, into these people who haven't been doing anything for us besides keeping us in small minds, who keeping us sick and unhealthy. Because when you really think about what they're doing, they're selling you all these drugs. Why is there so many pharmaceuticals? It's because we're all sick and we're mentally ill. And why are we sick and mentally ill? It's because the foods they're feeding you, the McDonald's, the Starbucks, the Sonics, the Whataburgers, all these pizza places like Little Caesars and shit. All that is not good foods for us. That's poison, that's chemicals that keeps us addicted. And all these taco trucks and all this dead flesh that you're eating, all this keeps us in low frequency and low vibration. And the more you want from these people, the more they're going to supply you with it because you're asking for it. So when you start to realize your power and what you got in this world, you can start to take that back and say, you know what, me and my family no longer participate. Just like Loving Organics, this business, my family, we no longer participate in that ignorance. We don't participate in Halloween and Christmas and birthdays and football games and Super Bowls and World Series and all these things that are happening. It's a distraction to keep you from knowing what's going on out there in the world. You think we really have time to celebrate when all this shit's going on, all this human trafficking, the fucking war, what else? Sicknesses and illnesses, the ADHD's on the rise, ignorance on the rise, everything's on the rise because we're not paying attention. But now it's time for us to wake the hell up and start paying attention to what's going on, not only in the world, but in our family. What are our kids watching? What are we watching? What are we putting into our own kids' minds? Are we showing them through inspiration, or are we just being hypocrites telling them not to do something when we do all the shit? We indoctrinate our kids. We're the ones who tell them about Halloween and Christmas and all this stuff. So in the end, when I tell you, don't get upset about the things that I'm telling you, because just like Santa Claus was made up, Jesus was made up too. so you can go and you can worship and give them your money. Look into it. There was a man who walked, but it wasn't Jesus. So I hope this helps you along your way. Many blessings. This is Love and Organics. Have a good one.